Morning YouTubers, welcome back to my channel and to episode 5, or is it 6? I think it'll be 6 of the garden room build. And today's a super exciting day because we're going to start building the walls. Let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, today is the day where we start to build the walls. So we've done all the horrible muddy work and we get into the fun good stuff. So all the timber has arrived for the walls. I've got 2 piles. This one is a mixture of 6x2s for the roof, and I've got some long 4x2s for the long bits. And I've got some batten for the walls, which will be what cladding fits on. And then I've got a load of shorter lengths of 4x2. That turned up yesterday, so then we've moved all of that last night. So I'll put a quick time lapse of moving all the wood in here. And now it's just a case of getting the saw set up. I've got all my measurements, which I'll show you in a minute, and get cutting. Let's go. So as you can see, I've finished cutting the first wall. It's great using SketchUp in the 3D modeling software to design your things like this, because it allows you to tinker with it and create really accurate cutting lists. So everything here was measured on the computer, and then I just wrote down the measurements, and then it allows you to just cut the bits. So now it will just go together like a puzzle. So it'll just be a case of screwing each thing together and it should go together really nicely. So to screw them together, I'm using these Screwfix Turbo Gold 80 mils. They're going to be plenty big enough to go in and hold this all together nicely. There's nothing special. I've cut all the noggins, which is the bits of wood between the timbers, so I'll use those to help me space out the correct distance at both top and bottom, and then when I put those in the middle it will all line up perfectly. So let's get on with it. Okay, so as you can see, the first wall is up. The GoPro died just as I was getting it into position, so you've missed that bit, but it was quite straightforward. I literally lifted it up and then used the slanting timber. I just screwed it to the frame and also to the bit of wood at the floor just to hold it in place, and that allowed me to just level it and then screw it in. It's not quite square, so but that I will organise when I get the other walls in. It's raining again, so which isn't ideal. I've cut the next wall for this side, so all the bits are cut, and now I'm just going to screw that together, and hopefully you'll see me put that one up. Let's go. Okay, so as you saw, I've finished building the second sidewall. No problems with that whatsoever. Now obviously if you've got help lifting these walls up, then use it, but I don't. Okay, so what will happen is as I'm pulling the wall up towards me, the bottom's going to want to slide out. So what I've done down here is I've just screwed on these little bits of 4x2 just to act as a kind of stop to prevent the wall sliding over the edge and falling into the ditch. So that worked quite well on the other side. So yeah, the other thing to show you at this point is on this side of the wall we're going to have 12mm sterling board. So what I've done is down here, I don't know if you can see, I've got some 12mm ply left over from the floor, so I've just screwed a little bit to each corner just to help give me the line, so that when I put the board on it's going to sit flush with this edge. Two reasons for that. One, obviously we want a nice flush edge, and secondly, when I put the board on, I'll probably be doing that on my own as well, and I can just rest it on the floor and screw it up, so it'll make that really nice and easy. So anyway, let's try and get this wall up. Let's go. So I've put the corner pieces in and lined the wall up, so the ends are in the right place. So I'm going to put a screw in there. So again, I'm just using my 80mm Screwfix turbo screws, and I'm going to put one in that corner and one in that corner, and then if there's any bows in the timber, I can just bang that out as I work my way along and just make sure everything's in the right place. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so in the last video you saw me cut out the hole and feed the ductwork through. When the GoPro died, what I did is I just notched out this little corner of the sole plate, and as you can see, that ductwork comes all the way like straight up into this space, so the cable can run all the way up to the junction box at the top. I haven't cut all the way through. You can see there I've got about half. I've notched about half of it out with the same hole saw that I used for the hole in the floor. so that all comes straight through, and that can all be foamed up when the cable's in, which is here. So that's another job that I've got to do. It's just started raining again, and I'm going to start the back walls. Let's get on it. So, as you may have noticed, up here, this is the doorway, as I've mentioned before, into what will be like a shed area. And I've used a 6x2 up there as a lintel, sort of just to support any weight that's going to be coming down from the roof. The 4x2 itself will bow over time. I mean, it's only a metre, but it will bow over time. So by putting, there's only one in there at the moment, but I will put another one in behind it. That will prevent anything moving there. I suppose more importantly is when we come to these doors here, they're spanning 2.5 meters, I suppose, almost that. So having 4 of them above each door, especially as I've got some steel beams going in the roof to stop any kind of movement or sagging, that's going to really support all of that and prevent anything from warping over time. So as you can see, I've now got the second section of the back wall up, and all that's left now is this middle section. So what I did is I cut the bottom section here that's going to fit. So I cut the bottom section which is going to fit in between here, like that, and I marked where the studs are going to go. So there's one here, one here, one here, and one there. The reason for doing that is I can now put the stud in here, here, and here, and in this section here, and this section there where the joins are, I'll use this as an example. I'm going to put a piece of timber across the joint, like all the way in, like another noggin, all the way across, and then put the stud on top of this. That way that keeps the joint nice and straight, so I can put 1, 2, 3 studs in, get this up, and then put the last 2 studs in, and then that will be the back wall done. Yes, let's go. So now I've got the back wall completely done. The sun's come out, which is great. So now it just leaves the front section to do. Probably going to do it in 3 sections like the back. So the 2 long sections and then the central infill piece, because what I've worked out is if I do that in one big section, it comes to about here, and the other same is there, so that means the infill piece is that panel in the center, so we don't have any like weird overhangs where the doors are going to go. Yeah, let's just get on with it, shall we? Okay, so as you can see from the time lapse, I've cut all of the pieces for the front sections. So I've got 3 sections. I've got the far section with the first door, the middle section, and then the section that I'm sort of stood in at the moment with the second door. Now it's just a case of screwing it all together, but I've run out of screws. I'm just going to go and get those, and then when I come back, screw this up, get it stood up, and then all the walls will be done. Let's go. So as you can see, all the walls are up. There's a few little finishing touches to do, like put another beam on the other side of this, another 6x2 in this pocket here, and then another 4x2 up here, so it sits underneath that. A bit like this one over here. It's gone really well. So the structure's not quite level yet, but that will get sorted out when I put the 12mm sterling board on the face of the shed. It's when you put it on, you can jiggle it around and you kind of use that to square everything up. So it's not far off level, but when we put the sterling board on, we fix it at the bottom in one corner, level it, fix it in the bottom in the other corner, in another corner, and then the sides, and then that pulls the whole structure level. And then you put it all on, and then you do the same on the other side, and so on. I've made the openings for the doors 2.4, but having been discussing that with my wife, we are now thinking about making them slightly smaller, so I'll have to block in some of this just for the shed really. I think we're going to make the shed a bit bigger and here, and then have this space in up to that door as a sort of gym stroke dance studio, and then this end down here will then be my workshop. So that needs to be worked out because there's some problems with the floor, where obviously I've made the floor to fit what the original design was. So that's something that needs to be worked out, but I'll let you know what I do. As you can see up here, it's a really simple detail. It just butts the sole plate, which is the top bit of wood, just butts up against one another, and then I've just screwed a piece in between, like another noggin in, and that fixed that and holds it all in place. So it's really easy, but just as strong as any other joint you put up there. And I mean, that's as simple as it is. It's just cutting bits of wood and screwing them together. Head over to my design videos to see how to design this in 3D, so that you can work out how much material you need and what your spacings, and you can get all of your measurements from that as well. Go back and look at some of the other videos if you haven't. Getting to this point, subscribe. I release these every Thursday, so you can follow along and keep up to date with what's going on. There'll be a video here and probably another one there by now. Yeah, like, subscribe. See you in the next episode. Peace.